You're in it. Everybody, it's Tisha back with Tisha Talks Live. It's been a hot minute since I have been on, but Happy New Year to you all. And good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us. This is Tisha Talks Live. And if you haven't been on Tisha Talks Live, haven't tuned in before, this is a chance where I get to interview some of the coolest entrepreneurs on the planet and give you some tips, strategies to just rock your 2023. So if you're tuning into this live or watching the replay, make sure that you drop us a line, tell us where you're from, ask questions along the way. Even if you're watching the replay, we do go back and answer those questions. So it's all good. But I just want to give a really big shout out to my host, or to my sponsor, I should say. I can get this up. All the things. I can't get it up. Okay. It's not coming. But I want to give a big shout out to Gateway Bank out here in Arizona. They are my sponsor for Tisha Talks Live, as well as my Social Connect Phoenix events. And speaking of Social Connect Phoenix, if you're in the Phoenix area, Social Connect makes its return on February 8th. And that is right before Super Bowl weekend. So of course we got to bring, all the pregame goodies, all the appetizers, the craft beer, all those things for an enjoyable happy hour experience. So again, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to grab our guest for us. And before he comes up, this is Todd Westra. Todd is out of freezing cold Utah. And every time we chat, he's like, how's the weather in Arizona? Because it's super sunny here and he's running in 4-degree temperatures. So just, it makes me cold every single time. But Todd and I go way back. We actually met on LinkedIn in a pod. And we're no longer part of that pod, but we became contacts and clients, and we just good friends. And I got to meet him actually on Thanksgiving weekend while he was out here visiting his family. So great to have Todd in. Todd is just a master at so many things. And today we're going to be talking about the burnout analysis. So a lot of you are in the business of scaling and growing your business, but perhaps you want to listen to this because we're going to be talking about how to grow and scale, but also how to keep your sanity so that you don't experience that whole burnout phase that a lot of entrepreneurs go through. So let me go ahead and bring Todd in and we'll welcome him to the stage. Todd Westra is in the house. Thank you so much, Todd, for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you. And
awesome.
How is the weather in Utah?
Oh my gosh. I mean, when I left my house this morning, it's like 17 degrees, just absolutely beautiful. No, it wasn't that beautiful. But the canyon was beautiful. Lots of sunshine and snow and everything looked amazing. But yeah, it is not warm at all. The heaters were on full blast and it just wasn't doing it all the way. So.
I tell you, every time you talk to me, I cannot believe that you run in this. So funny story, when Todd and I saw each other back in Thanksgiving weekend, I'm like, bundled up. I've got like my gloves and my jacket and my boots, and he's like shorts and a t-shirt. He's going for a run. We're sitting at Starbucks and I'm just freezing.
Felt amazing.
Yeah,
he's like, day.
This is so good. So I want to give a couple of shout outs to some people joining us. These are some of my loyal fans who tune into Tisha Talks every week. Royce Blake saying, hey, wow, love the new intro. Thanks, Royce. So little fun fact, we forgot to hit the go live button. So Todd and I were watching it a couple times.
It was great. It was better the second time.
Yeah, I was dancing in the background. I'm like, that music is so fun. And then we've got Mr. Groovy joining us from Groovy, Los Angeles. Hey, Luis, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. And just as Royce and Mr. Groovy are on, make sure you drop us a comment, drop us a line if you're tuning in live to this, or like I said on the replay. I'm so excited about this topic, Todd, because I'm kind of in that growth phase too. Not that I want to have this gigantic empire with like 50,000 employees, but even just the things that I'm working on and the projects I'm bringing in, I could totally understand how some people would get into that whole burnout analysis mode. And burnout, but just burnout analysis, burnout mode.
Yeah.
They just get burnt out. And I know a lot of people, like, it makes me crazy that I'm one of those people that I love taking vacations. So I do not neglect my vacations. And one of my craziest, proudest accomplishments last year was surpassing my financial goals and still taking 2 months off, like 2 months. Yes. And I'm not talking about 2 months and in its entirety. I'm talking about a couple weeks here, a couple weeks here, a couple personal days here, and so
you sound like you're from Europe or something.
I subscribe to that European way of living of you do not need to be burning the candle at both ends to be successful. That's my motto. I feel like you can have it all and you don't have to sacrifice or neglect that. But so many people I talk to, they're like, I haven't been on vacation in 9 years. I'm like, then something's wrong with you.
that is a problem. That is a problem. And the sad thing is that a lot of those people that say that, they probably work for a company that gives them vacation time, but they don't do it.
Yes. Can you imagine? But then when they leave, they're going to be like, I've got like 6 years of vacation you could pay me out for.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. What employer likes that? That's my question.
I know, right? Can you imagine? Yeah. I was just talking to a gal who said the same thing. She's like, before I resign, I'm going to take all my vacation time and then I'm going to quit.
I don't think she's the only one that's thought of that. So be careful when you go to your boss and say, hey, I need the next 2 months off.
Yeah.
I think they're going to catch on to something.
Right. Okay. So today, talking about the burnout analysis, and I know you have so many tips about this. And like I said, this is really good for that entrepreneur. I love bringing on guests who can talk about some different topics because I always learn so much. Like, to me, that's like the biggest blessing of having the show is being able to bring cool people on and learn from you. But so I wanted to just ask you, what are some of the signs of you can tell, Todd, when someone is experiencing burnout? Like, what are some of the telltale signs?
So there's 2 parts to burnout. There's one that is, I'm stressed out of my mind. I've been running ragged for too long and I just need to move on. That's one stage of burnout. The other facet of burnout, though, is a good sign. It's a good aspect of burnout. And what I mean is, when I talk about burnout, to your point, you naturally assume, oh my gosh, this person's been working their butt off. They've been working too hard. They need to take a break. They need to find another business. They need to do something different.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is when a company is wanting to grow and scale, like you're wanting to grow and scale.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I actually talked about this without you knowing it was the burnout analysis I was doing on you.
Is that what you were doing?
I was.
On our coffee date?
Yeah. Here's literally what's going on. Because I did the same evaluation of myself, and I've done it of my business, and I've done it of some of my clients. The burnout analysis I'm talking about is sometimes there's products and services that we offer that need to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be gone. Like, they need to be gone from our lives. And when we are burning like when we produce a product as a business owner, it could be in real estate, it could be in a widget that you sell, it could be anything. When you're doing a specific type of product and that specific type of service that you're providing isn't doing it for you, you've got to burn it out. Like, you've just got to put it away and transition it into something that is working for you and for your clients. And so when I do a burnout analysis, this is one of the funnest things I've ever done for a company. You literally, the way that we do it is we come in and we look at the last 5 years. What are the products that you sold out of your business over the last 5 years? And sometimes you only need to look back 6 months to see stuff that need to be burned out. But we go in and we say, oh my gosh, you put so much money into marketing this service. You only sold like 3 of them. And yet you sold 100 of these things over here that you didn't even talk about. Why are you putting so much energy into this product that nobody seems to want?
Right.
And so this is the whole burnout analysis. It's figuring out what of the products and services that you do and sell are the ones that your clients actually want to buy, and which ones are the ones that you had like a passion play about. You're like, oh, I just got to do this for somebody. I know they're going to need this, and yet nobody's demanding it. You know what I mean? And so you've got to burn those things out. When I was driving to Phoenix, I was moving my son and his wife to Phoenix, and yes, I watched a movie on the way down because it was just so boring. Like for parts of central Utah and northern Arizona, it was like, okay, I'm going straight for like 3 hours, you know?
Yeah.
And so I watched that Netflix Returning to Space with Elon Musk. And
Okay.
I was super inspired on the drive. And I watched this thing with Elon Musk, and I'm watching him learn how to launch these rockets and then have them land back on the exact same spot. I'm sure you've seen this on.
Yeah.
So he's launching these rockets. They come right back down to land, and he can repurpose them. First time it's ever been done, right? So huge, amazing thing. Well, think about what the rocket is designed to do, right? He builds this like it's a vehicle to push something into orbit, but then once it's pushed that thing into orbit, it comes right back down, and you're done with it. He's done until the next thing he needs to launch. And I think that when businesses launch, Tisha, a lot of small businesses tend to launch a product, and they think that product, excuse me, of course, I get a phone call right midstream here. They launch a product, and they hold on to everything like the engine and the fuel tank and all that extra garbage that they needed to get off the ground. They think that they still need it. But the reality is that they got to let go of half the things that they launched with, because now they're in orbit and they're just kind of floating there. And if you would just burn out the stuff that you don't need anymore, focus on the stuff that you're actually selling a lot of and that you like to fulfill, not only will you be happier, but your clients are going to be happier. They're going to be referring people to you. They're going to come running to you because you do such a good job at this thing that you thought was just a side part of your whole launch thing. Well, yeah, but now you're in orbit. Now people know you do this thing. Just do it. Just cling to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, several years ago, I think I shared this with you. I started this Startup Entrepreneur Academy, and I was like, this is it. Everybody's going to buy this. And it was just everybody and their mama told me, don't do this for startups. Don't do this for startups. It's not going to work out. And I was just oblivious. I was like, I'll prove you wrong. It'll work. This was a really small low-end package. I want to say it was like $397, right? Very small price point. I couldn't sell that I sold it maybe to 4 people. And I was like, okay. And then I sat on that for so long thinking that was my answer.
Right.
So it was crazy to me when I pivoted, and now I'm selling a program that's $5,000, $7,000. And people are like, I'll take it. I'm like, I can't sell my $397 price point product, but you're going to pay this. So I agree with you. I had to just put that away. And
put it away.
Startups, I love startups. I always want to support the startups, but now I found my way. I actually have been a venture double mentor for Arizona State University since 2017. They feed me the startups, and ASU pays me the price. Like they're just like, we'll just keep paying you to mentor these startups. So I don't have to just get into those conversations where they're like, I don't have money. I don't want to invest. I don't want to do these things.
Isn't that funny?
I still have all these flyers though. How do I get my ROI back?
You get it by putting it away and getting your time back.
Recycle the dang thing. Is that what you're telling me? Throw the box in the recycling bin and get rid of it, because it's
totally. I think that's your best bet. And honestly, I think when too many business owners they launch thinking that the thing that they're launching with is the end goal, right? And more often than not, I don't think I've ever launched a business and stuck with the original intent of the business for more than 2 months. You know
I know you haven't, because I'm one of your clients. I'm like, do you still do this? And you're like, no, we're.
But I still service you.
I know, and I feel so loved.
Oh, it
Honestly,
is
the
loving.
fact that you're still like, I do it for you. I'm like, oh man,
No,
love.
it's a funny thing though, because like the thing that I do for you, which
Yeah.
is VA services, like it's a good business for some people, but for me, it gave me so much pain watching people hire a VA, not know what to do with them.
Yeah.
It was just churn and burn. And so for you, you're a smart enough woman to know exactly what you want, and my team builds it for you. I don't have to worry about supporting you like I did a lot of my clients. And so I kind of graduated to something that was easier to support, easier to provide people. And now I've moved on, like you were saying, you go from this $397 product up to $7,000 for the same thing practically.
Right.
You're qualifying yourself to a different level of client. You're retiring your old 397 thing and moving into a deliverable that people want, are willing to pay for, and you're happier, they're happier. It's a great thing. You burn out the crap that you don't need anymore.
Yes. Sorry, I was just sending a message through LinkedIn because we have some people who are watching. Hey, everybody, don't be shy. Come on to the conversation and ask questions. But I like what you're saying. And so just so you guys have some context on this, Todd was just talking about a product that he offers that he no longer offers except exclusively to me, which is so flippin' cool. I'm like, yeah, I still have it.
And you can keep it for as long as you want.
I will not get rid of them. They're awesome. In fact, they built all of my designs.
I
They
love it.
do everything for me and all my landing pages and all the things. But, I just remember when you were on the show months ago when I was still running Casual Convo Fridays. And I
Right.
swear, Todd, I was like, he's talking to me. He's totally like pointing the finger at me. And it's how you got me to move, into making
Good.
that call and investing in that. But I agree. I feel like if it's becoming something that you're just like, this is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Like if you don't enjoy it anymore, it's not moving in the direction that you really thought it would,
It's not
then
worth
it
it.
is it's time. Like you said, I mean, I think I'm ready to toss all my
Burn it out.
flyers,
Burn
and
it out. Burn it out.
yeah.
It's a crazy thing. Like the whole like the rocket analogy is so funny to me because people talk about launching and people talk about this, like launch is such a natural vocabulary word now in business startup vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thinks about the rest of the mission. Like why did I launch to begin with? And what did I use to launch me? Because half the time when you think about this whole rocket analogy thing, it's like, holy cow. Like you watch the space shuttle. When I was a kid, I watched the space shuttle go up. This huge big dome thing that was the fuel tank, two giant rockets on the side, and then this little bitty, rocket, this little space shuttle on the side. As soon as that thing burned out of all its fuel, it detached, it went and landed in the ocean somewhere,
Yeah.
and it was done. It served its purpose. And half the time when a startup launches, they may have 10 products out of 11 that they don't need anymore. Like it
Mm-hmm.
served its purpose. It gave them the fuel they needed to go. But now their clients are telling them, I would rather pay you more for you to do this one thing than to pay you less to get 10 other things.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the growth and scaling mindset you need to get into.
Yeah, I like that. Royce throwing a comment up here. The world's best pecan pie isn't going to do well in the nut allergy space.
So right, Royce.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I know Mr. Groovy here, he's also agreeing with that too. Very true. I think because I work with a lot of startups, Todd, who are in that launch phase, I always am asking them the research and development question.
Yeah.
Have you researched this? Have you talked to people? Is this something people need, or are you feeling like it's something that just you need?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times people just absolutely glaze over that whole R&D phase. And
100%.
yeah, I mean, I think
If they think they need it, they think everybody else needs it.
right, exactly. Hey, Brian, good to see you here. He has a comment up here. An idea of an end goal is rigid and limits possibilities. The destination is always in flux. Adjust your sails as needed.
Poetic, Brian. Poetic, Brian.
Yeah,
I like
adjusting.
That being said, Brian, if you don't have a general area you're trying to get to, you're never going to get anywhere. And
Mhm.
so I always tell people, have an exit plan, but be willing to modify as needed. You've got to know where you're flying your ship. And if you're just launching into space, I'm just going to go back to it's such an easy analogy. So if you're launching into space, you got endless destinations, right? Like you could go to the space station, you could go to the moon, you could go to Mars, you could just go float in orbit for all I care. Where did you want to go to begin with? And for most people, when the US want to go to the moon, what do? They set a goal, they set a strategy, and they got themselves to the freaking moon.
Mhm.
You got to have some kind of plan. Otherwise, as soon as you get somewhere, you're just going to be happy in that place. When you actually have the capacity to take that thing someplace much greater. And so what I like to do, Tisha, is when I work with a client, oftentimes my more recent clients have been much more mature businesses.
Mhm.
And they kind of forgot why they launched. They
Mm.
forget where they wanted to go to begin with. And so here they are, this happy little business generating lots of revenue. They've got lots of employees. They're super happy. But they kind of forgot, oh man, I forgot I was gonna try and sell this company in 10 years and either retire or go invest in some other cool thing.
Mhm.
And then when they get to 10 years, they subconsciously forgot that was their plan. And they're like, I'm feeling really burnt out. Like I'm kind of done with this business. What was my strategy? What was my next play? And they kind of forgot. But in their head, the back of their head is like going, no, we're going to be done in 10 years. We're done. And like you were talking to me about your dreams of Costa Rica or
Yeah.
some awesome lifestyle that you want to go to. That is your end goal.
Mhm.
You might take a different path to get there than you thought you would, but that goal still needs to be there in order for you to really get anywhere. Otherwise, you're just happy with mediocrity. And so I challenge all my clients. I'm like, okay, let's rethink this. Where do you want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? And it can change. You can
Mhm.
totally do something different, but where do we want to point your ship? Because if your ship is pointed towards the moon and you actually want to go to Mars, you're going to be like chasing your own tail because that moon's going around the earth 100 times a day, right? And
Right.
anyway, so you got to really figure out where you want to be in the long run, even if it's just an idea. Get that in your head and start moving that direction. And if you get stopped along the way and you're like, you know what? This little asteroid that I landed on is so cool. I had no idea this could be so cool. I'm just going to stay here for a while. That's okay.
Yeah.
Be there, you know?
I I like that. I'm interested too. Do you feel that clients, when they go into a business, already have an exit strategy or they've already thought about that? Because I remember asking a group of female entrepreneurs this, and they really were like, I'm just working for the rest of my life. I'm like, gosh, that sounds freaking ridiculous.
This
Like,
sounds
I
horrible.
was just like, Like, and I think you've known me long enough that I pivot
Yeah.
quite a bit because I am the person that gets bored. That I'm
Yeah.
like, gosh, I want the next challenge. I want to do something different. I want to try this now. And
Yes.
I think it just makes life so interesting. But yeah, the exit strategy is a really good question because so many people do not have one.
They
They
don't.
just they just feel like every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to do the same thing and we're just going to make it until I die. And I'm like, well,
I
that sounds horrible.
I sat down with a man who I think is awesome, probably 2 months ago, and he 27 years into his business. Um, Amazing little business, super profitable. He's got it figured out, but he's only doing about 6.5 million in revenue a year.
Mhm.
Now, to some people, that's like a dream come true. For a 27-year-old business that has the propensity to scale to be $100 million company, that's kind of weak. He kind of got satisfied,
Yeah,
just kind of
complacent.
floating there.
Mhm.
And we had this conversation, and he's like, "Well, what do I need to do?" And I'm like, "Well, we need to analyze a lot of stuff. What are your potential exit strategies? Like, what could you do?" He's getting to retirement age, and
Yeah.
he's like, "I could exit right now and earn a maybe a 2x multiple of my revenue, right? And he's like, or I could if I could ramp up to 15 million now and show like some growth, a trajectory of growth. Now all of a sudden I may get 4x of 15 million as opposed to 2x of 6, you know? And it's like, that's a huge difference. I mean, we're talking about $100 million versus, just a few. And so as you think about an exit strategy, to Brian's point, it doesn't have to be one place, but know where your potential exit spots are. Like for you to be in Costa Rica in however many years you want to be there for. Okay. I love how clear you are. Okay. So I wasn't even going to say it because I wanted you to say it. So 4 years, Costa Rica. What do you got to do to get there? And you may find yourself in 3 years going, you know what? I made it here sooner than I thought. I'm just done now. Let's play the exit game. Or you might be in 4 years saying, holy crap, if I give it a year and a half more, I'm going to 3x what I've got right now. I think I'm going to do it for a year and a half more. And you got to just know where your points are of exit. And so when I work with people, we do 4 stages of audit while we prepare a company for growth and scaling. And the first stage is what we call the systems check. We go through their guidance system, which is like the I would say it's super important. It's your mission, your vision, your core values, that kind of stuff. So a lot of companies don't have them. A lot of companies do, but they don't recognize how powerful they could be in driving them to their exit. Second thing I do with them in stage 1 is really just kind of explore the exit opportunities. What could they do? Where could they exit? Or do they want to hand it down as a legacy business? If they do, what should they do differently to legacy this to their kids? Or their friends or whoever they want to legacy it to. And then the burnout analysis is this whole exercise of going through all your crap. What landing pages should I just eliminate from the world so they never land on them again? And what things should I really focus in on? The second thing we do is a house cleaning exercise where we go through all their finances and we look at their, for one thing, we look at all of their tech stack. Tisha, for what you do, you could be paying for StreamYard, Restream, and, whatever streaming software. You could have 10 different streaming softwares you're paying for probably and not even know it because you're like, well, I use this one for this and I use this one for that. And so put that in a company with 1,000 employees. And all of a sudden, when you've got 40 pieces of software that you could eliminate down to 5, and just sit and then just make it across the whole company. Now you're getting bulk discounts, you're getting enterprise level pricing, you just probably chopped out 10% of your overhead just on software crap that companies are paying for that they shouldn't be. And so we do this exercise where stage 2, we do a house cleaning audit of employees, of staff, of services and products, and even vendors. That brings us into the third stage, which I think you and I have both, we fall in love with this stage. It's client profiling.
Right.
Who do I want to serve? I know what problems I can solve, but who do I want to help the best? And you and I have had this conversation several times over the years because it's like, you know what? I'm kind of done with this type of client. I really feel like this person's going to pay me more for what I'm worth. And they're going to appreciate me more for what I'm worth. Those are things you got to think about. And so client profiling is enormous in the grand scheme of things, because if you're servicing people that you can't stand being with anymore, life sucks and your job sucks and your business sucks. And so when you think about it and take 2 steps back and say, okay, I service 100 of these guys that drive me nuts, but I've got 10 that are just incredible. What is the commonality between these 10 that I really like? All of a sudden, you can recreate those 10 and then design your product around those 10 people so that they want to tell their 10 friends a piece and give you some awesome, awesome stuff in return. Tisha, it was funny. I was on the phone last night with a guy. He's got an amazing product that is a client referral program. And he told me that the average business gets less than 1 referral per client. and I think it was like a 0.6 something. Like it was
Oh,
really low. And he said, our clients get on average 10.9 referrals per client. Think about that for a second.
right.
Like a
That's your
half
pipeline right there.
versus, yeah, I mean, talk about a 10x in one simple step. How well do you think about your existing client base as a referral engine? Because it costs you a lot less money to, like for you, for example, Tisha, like you, I don't make money doing VA work like it's a hard business to make money unless you got 1,000 VAs.
Right.
But with you, I knew that if I continue to take good care of you, you would refer me someone for my new products and services. You've done that probably 4 or 5 times in the last year. Like, talk about a perfect example of someone that you treat them well. You're someone I like to work with, even though you're not really a good fit for my current product, but you're the perfect fit for what I'm doing for you. And I'm going to keep doing it because I know if I keep you happy and you know what I'm up to, you know someone else I need to get to know.
Is that why you keep me around, Todd?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. No, that's not it. But I tell you, if more companies would think like that, not only would they have relationships like you and I have, but they would also have amazing referral partners. And you know what? Throw some free services in, help them out, give them take them to lunch, send their wife on send them on a vacation or something cool, And I think that, yeah.
And Bruce is blowing up the feed. Hey, Bruce, good to see you. Tisha is a referral maven. Yes.
I love it. But that's how all your clients should be. Like, it was so interesting last night to talk to him about that and hear the stats on what his average client does. And I just thought, oh my gosh, like that is so, so true. If we would look at our clients as more than just a client, look at them as someone who's going to help you grow your business. Because what are you doing? You're helping them solve a problem.
Right.
They're happy to help you solve a problem in return. So those are kind of the 3 intro stages. And the 4th stage that we address in growth and scaling is kind of a repetitive thing where we call it operational repetition. And you can see all this on our website at withmoku.com. But we go through like the 3 big things: sales, marketing, and product development over and over and over and over again, because you're constantly tweaking based off feedback from your salespeople. What are your marketing guys telling you what to do and all that other good stuff? It's a cycle that will continue as long as you grow and scale your business. Sales, product, marketing, those 3. So that's the game plan. And Tisha, you and I have had so many amazing conversations about this without even talking about it in these terms. But this has been my pivot. It's been that I'm really recognizing that companies who get stuck in those revenue plateaus, they have a way out. They just don't see it because they're so in the mire with products they should burn out, with clients they should cut ties with, and just focus on the ones that are bringing them the most joy to serve.
I really like that. And I know we're running short on time, but here's a really great question that I was asked by one of your clients that I referred to you, Alenka, who's actually my mastermind business coach. She asked a really great question in our mastermind yesterday of figure out what's making you money right now and what's not making you money. And what are 5 potential things you could do to start making that money? Because so many of us do things just because we feel like we have to, we want to keep it going, like all these things. And when you actually put it down on paper and columns of nope, 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 your answer's right there. This is that burnout analysis. Like you were saying, this is a really good time. And I know Bruce has been talking about this as the process cleanup guy of go through and really do that exercise of what really is bringing you business, what's helping you get to that revenue goal. And if it's like, cut it, get rid of the flyers, throw them to the recycling bin, like I have to do, but we really need to get clear and streamline those processes and just, figure out what really works for you.
100%. Now, this has been so fun. And I'm sorry I kind of took over.
You didn't. You're fine. I put a little buffer in there for my next call.
Well, you know me too well. It's an exciting topic, and for you, I think it's just such a blessing that you've been able to grow and scale the way you've been able to do. You've been able to dive into a whole new marketplace and just put your skill sets to work. And I love what you've done, and I love watching people who really understand what they like to produce the best. You can jump into almost any environment and produce that high quality product and get people to appreciate it, and if you haven't found someone that appreciates it, jump to a new vertical, jump to a new space, find someone that will appreciate it, and you'll find yourself growing and scaling like you never thought.
Exactly. So I got the coolest opportunity. We talked about real estate a little bit too. But I just got asked to speak in front of all of these realtors and all of the service professionals just by showing up at a networking event the other day.
Love it.
And lighting up the room, like how I like the room. And
yes, you do.
The guy's like, I want you to come speak. Can you talk about branding in front of all our realtors? I'm like, did you know that I just created a whole program specifically for that?
I love it. I love it. Well, and Tisha, that is exactly what everyone listening to this should be thinking. What is it that when people meet me, they recognize I do really well? Mm-hmm. And that zone of genius, you've been able to tap into it now, and people recognize it immediately. And for you, it's doing that. And for me, it's I love product development. I love talking about marketing, and I love selling. But those three things together, when a company has those lined up, it's trajectory like that. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
Right. Okay. So in the last minute that we have, Todd, tell us, I have your website up. How else can people reach out to you? I know you're on LinkedIn, kind of on LinkedIn. Where are you at these days so people can really reach out?
I've been a bad boy. I've been so distracted. I'm just getting myself back into LinkedIn. I've got a new podcast I'm launching called What It Takes to Scale. And it is so much fun. And but you can definitely find me on LinkedIn. I'm on there every day right now. I'm really horrible at other social media platforms. I'm just horrible. But I'm committing myself to do it. And, I think that if you want to really find me, check out the podcast, check out all the other sites. With Moku is a great place to learn about how we help, because, it's funny. We take that BA energy and we just can take it into different businesses and light a candle underneath people, and these businesses start to take off. So keep it up, Tisha, and find me wherever you want.
Yay. All right. We'll find Todd, like you said, on LinkedIn is probably the best place to reach out to him, or his website withmoku.com. I want to say thanks, everybody. This is our first show back. I invited Todd to be my first 2023 guest, and love this conversation. So of course, definitely reach out to Todd. I'm going to send us out with the intro that I just started, because I think it's good to play it at the beginning, and because at the end, Bruce didn't get to watch it yet. So Bruce, hang on, and we're going to play that one more time, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right. So let's try it. You ready to dance? Are you ready to dance,
Todd?
Ready. Okay, here we go. Let's see if it'll work, if I have to close everything out, but we'll see. All right.
I was kind of doing it in my chair.
Well, that worked. We just had to test it out. We just had to try it, right?
You never know until you try.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Todd, for being on with me. And we'll see you at the end of the month. I know you're coming back out to Arizona.
Can't
And
wait.
thanks everybody for being on with us live or catching the replay. Some really, really great advice from Todd. If you're thinking about scaling your business, this is one you do not want to miss. So thanks again for being here, and have a great weekend. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day for Monday if you're celebrating and taking the time off. And we will catch you back next week on another edition of Tisha Talks Live. Cindy Cohn, the Lady of Joy, like that's her whole thing. She just talked about bringing more joy to your life, is going to be joining me as my special guest. So you don't want to miss it. We'll see you next week. We'll see you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.